Biggest difference between dating in your 20s and 30s? I'd say my low tolerance for bullshit and how much I value my own standards and boundaries. That applies in every aspect of my life, not just dating. But today, let's talk about the effects of dating. Number one, in my 30s, the dance just isn't fun anymore. Dating in my 20s was all fun and games because I, like many people, wasn't trying to start a family just yet, and the younger version of me didn't know what I was really looking for. So dating was also a self-discovery process on its own. I talked about the lack of honesty in dating in another video, and I spoke of how much I disliked the dance. Now that I think of it, in my early 20s, I probably enjoyed the dance like the next person because it was fun to figure someone out, and it was fun to be mysterious as well. Now I find the dance an utter waste of my energy because I know what I want and know what's compatible with me. Am I in a huge rush? No. The clock is ticking argument stopped bothering me that much after I froze my eggs. Just because I have the time doesn't mean the dance is adding any value in my life. I have better things to do with my time than slowly melting off someone's sugar coat. Number two, there's no bad topics or forbidden subjects. You know how people tell you to never talk about politics or your ex on a first date? I happen to think that all the honest and true information you give me about you is pertinent to me. Dating is matchmaking, right? Being compatible in life habits, value propositions, worldview, love languages, political stance, and even in trauma responses are also important. So, in no particular order, show me everything you're willing to share. Of course, I am not of the opinion that we have to trauma dump as someone when you first meet. When the conversation goes back and forth and it flows naturally, and I hope it does, any topic can come up, and I expect both of us to not fake things to appear more dateable and less burdensome. Number three, I want what I want, and that's that. People always say you're too picky if you're still single in your 30s. To an extent, that's kind of true, but I don't believe there's such a thing to be too picky. You just become more specific and certain about your needs in your 30s, and you're cognizant how valuable your time is. I remember in my 20s, I had a long list of things I wanted from a man I date. Most of the items on the checklist have been abandoned by now, and a few things have been added. Overall, the checklist became smaller, but I became way more adamant about the things that still remain on the list. This goes back to not knowing yourself in your 20s. Using arbitrary things as deal breakers in my 20s seemed judgmental because, let's be real, I've not experienced that much. So things on my checklist came from society, media, my family, and my own imagination. I was still at the stage of absorbing information generally, so writing someone off quickly based on an arbitrary thing can be a sign of closed-mindedness at a younger age. But once I figured out what I want and what's truly important to me, I can dismiss someone on seemingly arbitrary things as long as they're important to me. Because I've already done the time, the concession. I've already budged when I dated that one person or multiple people that minimized what I found important, and none of that worked. So at the end of the day, you finally start to listen to yourself on what you really want and stop being flexible on the important things. Number four, if you don't like me, it's not me. If I don't like you, it's not you. We probably have all been there. If we get ghosted or get broken up with, or when someone tells us it's not you, it's me, we would still think, nah, it's me. Maybe it's my ego or low self-esteem, or likely both. When things didn't work out, I always felt it's something I did, or at least I think there's something I could have done to make someone like me more. That's both thinking very lowly of myself, but somehow overestimating how important I was at the same time. In my 30s, I comfortably live in the fact that not everyone will like me, and that's nice. Because I don't like everyone, nor do I have time for everyone. I don't appease, and I don't want anyone to appease to me. Because that's not something I can consistently keep up when the dating continues. And nor can you. When someone doesn't like me, it's not a me problem, it's a them problem. Not in a way that they're wrong, they just like what they like and it's not me. I stopped taking people's proclivities and preferences personally. That's a lot of P's. There are billions of people in this world and millions of people that are single and age appropriate. I'm okay. I won't end up alone unless being alone is my choice and I find myself happier that way. Number five, show me your worst. I won't be scared off. I've seen a lot of shit and been on dates with literal pieces of shit. So I'm actually okay with you wearing a disclaimer tag to warn people your problems. When both of us aren't fazed by each other's problems, then you can get to know the good stuff. You know? I don't want no surprises. I much prefer to know the bad stuff as early as possible. I understand that life isn't all rainbows and sunshine. We all have trauma, burdens, and damages. I've been through enough to not judge you by things that happened in your past. The only disservice you can do to yourself and me is to appear light and hide the heavy stuff for later on. Dating now is a lot more about trauma matching, and that's so normal and good. I also stopped putting the boyfriend-girlfriend label on a pedestal because it's only a small stage that happens before you commit your lives together. I don't care if I'm in a situationship or whatever you call it. We are vetting each other. I'm not after the girlfriend seat, I'm after the life partner seat, and I'm vetting you accordingly. That's a longer vetting process for both of us, and the label during the vetting doesn't bother me. So if you're in your 20s, don't believe people that say to you, your value as a woman decreases in dating in your 30s. That's what men tell you to increase your anxiety so that you settle for their loser ass. You do work with less options, but that's by your choice, because you don't have time to entertain boys that are looking for a mom. Being able to provide for yourself is also nice, so you wouldn't waste your time on dussies that provide less than you do for yourself. Dating isn't less fun in your 30s. You just don't do it for fun, and you have more fun things to do with your time. I can go into more details about each point in separate videos, but that's enough for today. Oh, in case anyone's wondering how old I am. I turned 33 in a week.